Hello and welcome to this easy machine of Stocker. It was quite well, I wouldn't say easy machine, but there were some steps involved. And one was finding out what kind of backend was being used. In this case, it was Node.js, and you could find it if you go through the headers and query the request or the website, and you can see it's an Express version, which is a Node.js JavaScript runtime environment thing, which you can use to run websites. This featured a sort of PDF generator, which we can actually sort of inject our code into, and it will be, for example, to read a local flag like etc password or maybe the flag could be. Once you get access to the system because of some configuration files and password reuse, you can get root by just running I believe it was a GTFO bins like binary exploit or like a binary exploit thingy to just escalate your privileges. So first of all, if you look at the scans, you can see nothing much is open. So we just go to the website. And here as well, we can't really do much. Most of the time I start with a directory scan. So most of the time you would, for example, have login, which is not found, or admin or WordPress login. But in this case, there's not going to be anything. So what you have to do is if we run this FUV scan, and this is the one, we're just going to run on this website with the host of FUV because we're going to run vhost. We will find there's one web source vhost, which is dev. So if we just go to this dev instance, we can see we have some stalkers. It's not supposed to sign you in, which is my bad. What we see here is some login page. You can try some basic SQL injection, for example, like or 1 is 1, something like this, which it's not going to work. Why? Because if we just curl this website, we can see it's run by Express. And if we look at what Express is, Express Node.js, we can see, or like Express website framework, you will see it's running a Node.js. It's basically like a tree of Node.js, I believe, or it's using Node.js. And what this means is most of the time, these instances are using NoSQL databases like MongoDB. There are some specific injection we have to do, and you can't provide it here because we have to change the type. So if I just turn on my proxy and I will just provide it with who's doing this. I think it's hack the box. I'm just going to turn it off like this. Stop, please. Right. I'm just going to do add and add. And if I just sign in, I can see the payload being processed here, like our data being processed. Because it's a Node.js, it's always an easy guess to go for basic injections, which is going to be the NoSQL. Let me see, NoSQL, I think it's just NoSQL NE. So we have to change this into JavaScript, or sorry, JSON. The way we do this is always going to be encapsulated, right, within these brackets. And I can't go to the end, okay. Into the end. And you have to always put these into its appropriate things, and we have to do something here. And it's also going to be password, which is also going to be equal to something, right? We're going to provide nothing with it. So you can't provide this, but we can put something in here, which is going to make a sort of query. So we're going to check NE, which is going to be the not equal to, or like not equal. So if we just do a NE onto null, not equal to null, and which is also going to do the same one here for the password, not equal to null. If we provide it with this, we can see we get logged into the, it should log us in. Why did it not log us in? I luckily have it provided here in case things do go wrong. I think, no, I'm not sure what went wrong. Maybe I didn't do the get request. Anyway, it should log you in, and what you see here is some card instances. And if I click on add basket, for example, I did notice that it doesn't bring you to the Burp Suite instance, which means it's probably getting saved like onto the cookie or session. But if I refresh and I just go forward with it, I do see that my card is completely empty. So it means that it's probably not even getting stored, but maybe like a sort of session or something. So once we add this and we actually go and submit the purchase and we just look at request and forward it, we can see we get this, your orders have been detailed, something, right? We're just going to look at what it generated. It's going to be a PDF file with our sort of order. I just want to download this like this and replace it. And if we use a tool like EXIF tool on document, we can see how it was generated. In this case, it's Skia PDF M108. It's also great to look at the creator. In this case, it's Chromium. The way we can try to go about this is looking for a Skia PDF M08 exploit, which I can't find. But if you just try some basic payloads onto Chromium, we are actually able to find some certain injection techniques. I've got one website here which just shows you what kind of injections you can try. And one of the first discoveries is just doing document.write, which is the exact thing I'm going to do. So if I'm just going to go here and do try this again, view card, intercept, and submit purchase, I just want to change this into here. So what it's now going to do is going to try to load this source. I'm not sure if I think it's going to error with this one, so I'm just going to have to replace this. On error document.write, because I already used the thing. Oh wait, oh no, we can't use that. I'm just gonna do a 1 here, 1. Maybe it allows for this. Forward and just look at the website and order here. Let me see what we're getting. And I do see a 1 here. So it does mean we can actually do some inserting of code here. And it does go on to do more. So document.write JSON, iframe. And this is the exact thing we're going to do. We just want to look at the iframe, but we don't have to do a document in this case, because we can just do a file. And I'm not sure if it's even mentioning it here. Yes, read local file. This is the long version of the script. I can't do it out of my head. So a few cards and just have the verb suite on, submit purchase. So what I want to do, I want to create an iframe with a source. This is going to be basic HTML. And then we want to do the file of etc/password. On this case, I want to do a width of 1000, it's just something, and then a height of 1000. And then we have to close the iframe, which is going to be this one, iframe. This, if we forward this and just go through its appropriate page, we can see we do have the password, which is amazing. I can see we have the user Angus, which is the only one with bash, except for, of course, root. So it's probably something to, we now have the user, which is running as a system, which is probably going to be our initial access point. Right. Our way to sort of go about this is it's always great to sort of generate an error. So if I were to go here and do, for example, this, so it's improper JSON, and just look at a website. Sorry, I should look at it from this perspective. Just send it to repeater. Let's mess up the JSON, send it, we get errors, right? It shows us where it's located, which even gives us more data because we now know it's stored in var dub and def. It's kind of misleading because you can read this code, but where you have to look, you have to look inside of def. And just like var HTML, you have most of the time have index.html and, for example, login.html, but more. In this case, when running Node.js, it has to be named index.javascript or main.javascript or app.javascript. Well, it doesn't have to be, but at least those are the names most commonly used by developers. So we are really interested in just trying var def. If I were to go here and were to port forward this or sort of forward this, I have this saved. Let me just copy it like this. And if I were just change this to var and then def/index.javascript, we would get a new page. Not sure if this is the correct one. Forward. And then we were to see some configuration code. In this case, it was quite easy to see what kind of password there was. So we can just try to SSH into Angus at stalker.hackthebox, provide its password, and we should have the user.txt. In this case, it wasn't. It's lucky that there's password reuse. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get this one. Otherwise, you can try connecting to the database, but we can't really do it. So this was kind of a tricky part to get into the root or the user. But now that we're on here, most of the things you most of the time want to do on easy machines is seeing what you can run as sudo. This one is quite interesting because I see user local script star.js, meaning everything. Sometimes you can do path traversal like this instead of star because it's accepting anything if it's not like filtering. So I know it's executing JavaScript. Let's just go to GTFO bins. Let's turn this off. Right. We know it's running Node or Express. Express doesn't run anything. JavaScript also is not a binary, but Node is a binary. So if we just go to Node, we can see some shell. It can be used to break out of restricted environments. This looks great because it's executing this. And then we can look at reverse shell. We don't mind those. File down or file writes, SUID, which we don't have. We don't have SUID bit. And then sudo, we are sudo, or at least this thing can be run as sudo. So this one, again, is interesting. And then we have this capability as well, but there's no capability. So what we can do, we can just go to tmp / and we can just vim, like, I don't know, shell.js. This is the code here, which is, I actually had already pasted. And basically it's gonna do the standard input output 0, 1, and 2. So I believe 0 is nothing and 1 is the normal output and 2 is the errors, I believe it is. And it's just gonna spawn it. Right, so we now have to just run it. So if I just copy this and do a sudo on this, we should, no, we don't. Sorry. We have to do the // again. Because this is not the thing we want to run. It's going to be the // and then it's going to be shell.js. And keep in mind, you do have to name it something .js. It can be anything because it's, you know, has this .js. Right. If we run it, we do see that we cannot find modules shell.js. Sorry, I should provide it with tmp. tmp/shell. And you can immediately see you became root basically because it executed the script. And this does give you its root file. In my case, this was quite a sophisticated box, in my opinion, as like this path traversal to process escalation was quite straightforward, but the user enumeration with the password reuse and the injections types you had to use was quite advanced, I'd say, but overall was quite a fun box. So yeah, that's basically it for this one.